Good morning, people. Thought I would just do a tiny pre-work video. So from time to time, you may see I make videos that seem similar to what you could find on the internet. This might be one of them, but I want to make my own take on stuff, so this one will revolve around making an object within an object. Because sometimes you find yourself, like in this case, I want to make a perfect shape inside another object, so I can use that shape to be a block support part. So I did a print yesterday. I did a totally different way of making that. This is actually hollow, and I hollowed it out manually using extrude. But there is a much easier way to do that, and I'm going to show you today how to do that. So what I originally did here, I made sketches, and then I did an extrude. First I made like an reduced outline, so it had a wall, and then I extruded that to remove the infill. But there is a better way to do that. And after I did the extrude, I used combine and cut to combine a new object to make the new objects inside. So that's one way to do it, but there is a different way to do this where there is actually functions for it, and I didn't think about it yesterday, so I think I will show you today. So I have my models here. They are kind of small. They are supposed to, let's see if I have it here. Yeah, have this. I'm gonna input magnets, so or on this it's not visible, but they will go in the corners to sort of lock in place the magnets that will go on the underside. And actually they would be on the underside and lock the magnets from the top. But let's start here in Fusion 360. So originally these objects here, they are solid, as you can see from the when I do like a section analysis, you can see that they are solid. And the main plan here is I want the walls to have 2 layer lines thickness, and I'm currently printing with 0.4 nozzles. So that means that I can print 2 layer lines next to each other. Each of them need to be 0.4 millimeters, which means that the wall minimum need to be 0.8 millimeter. And that is very small. Sorry. And yes, these are printed in TPU, so they are flexible, and when I put them in place they will flex, and then they will press on the magnets and keep them in place. So let's go in here, and we'll hollow out these objects. So I'll just start by selecting all the objects. Now it didn't do that. See? So I mark every one of them, and then you go to modify, and you use the shell command. You have 2 options. You can make like rounded edges inside. It means that it's not like totally square on the inside, it's like rounded on the inside. And you can do that. If you want a stronger edge inside, you can use it rounded. If you want it just perfectly square to have an easy print, you can just make it sharp. So I'm leaving mine sharp, and I want the wall to be 0.8 millimeters. I'm working with millimeters because I'm from Norway. I don't use inches. And then I want to use the inside to the outside. I haven't really experimented with both, but I tried this before and it worked. So once I press this, it will shell the objects, and now you can see you have got all the objects you need. So you can go to the section analysis again, and just select the surface, and now you can see that there's a perfect height. You can see here it seems thicker, but it's not. It's actually 0.8 millimeter thick. That's why it has a thicker border there. So that part done. That's how it's gonna print. It's gonna print open like that, and it's gonna print in TPU, so you can squash it like Like you can see, I can bend these without problem. But I also want to make objects inside of these, and for this I can use something called boundary fill in Fusion. So I'm just going to start by opening up, because you need to be able to select the area that you want to make solid and into a different object. So you can go to inspect, and it's easier to select that area if you make like a section analysis. Sorry, I have a cough. So I start by opening up this, and then I go and I select those two objects. It's not that one, this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. And then you go to the create boundary fill, and then you see they become green. Now in the old days, a few updates ago, when I started using Fusion, I hated this. I hated this function so much because you couldn't see what you were doing, because everything was green in the same shade, and accessing these 2 points was horrible. Okay, now since I have done a section analysis from the side, I can basically access the insides. So, and if you look, when I hover my mouse over each of these sections, you can see, okay, it's not showing so well there. Now it's just showing the inside. Let's see. Okay, sometimes it's hard to select that one. I wish they could make that easier. See, I'll draw the section analysis a little bit further back. Inspect, section analysis, here. I'll drag that to the back, and then I'll go create boundary fill. I'll select this one. Okay, that's why I cannot select it. This it's kind of fiddly, this boundary fill. Create, it doesn't jump automatically. Boundary fill. And because I cannot select here, because I'm actually on select tools. These are the tools bodies, and I have to click here up and select cell. Now you will see that we get a totally different shape. I'm actually gonna change the drag here a little bit so we see more. So select those two, create boundary fill, and then I go and select the cells. And now you can see you get a different view. And based on which of these objects you're selecting, like if I select this, it's the outside. If I select this, it's the inside. You can see it remains solid green. It's hard to see. I wish they could make it so that when you select the inside it will show red, for instance, or blue or something like that, because it would just make it so much easier to... Okay, you can see now if I hold it like this, the middle one inside here becomes darker. And if I select it here, you can see that the outside edge just to the right of my mouse becomes darker. That means that when I have this selected, and if I left click, I will select the outside. That's not what I want. I want the inside. So I go here, and then I click, and I'm not clicking in the box, but I'm clicking on the object itself. Now I have selected to use the inside. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other one. That's the outside, and that's the inside. And I click on it. And then I leave this on new body, and I leave this to keep the tools, and I press OK. So what you get now is you're filling the empty space inside with a new object. So if I go here and I remove these, you can see this is the outer shell I'm removing, and then you have the inner shell. And then you can export those as separate objects and use them as block supports. So I'm gonna do the same on the other side. So supports. I'm using section analysis because I think it's easier to actually get a grip on those. So it should be the first one and the second one there. Create boundary fill, and again it doesn't jump automatically, so you need to manually select cells, and then you need to find the one that is accurate. See here, the side is shaded, so that should be it. This is the outside. If you see here, mouse is here, this is the outside selected, and now it's the inside, and then you click it, because you can see it's like darker shade on the side. And then I leave that new body. You can also do join, like if you want to fill an area, you can do join. And it's let's say you made like a triangle inside because you thought you wanted a support, but instead you want to cut it, so we could probably cut it out like that, but I think it's gonna be hard because it will not do the supports. So yeah, I will leave that new body and press OK. And again, you can see I have the solid insides, and these are perfectly shaped to the insides. There is no, like if you printed this together without doing anything different, you would get one solid object. So that is basically how you can hollow out an object in Fusion 360, and also how you can sort of make the hollow part into its own object. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like my videos.